Grand Rising, everyone. Very excited to be back with you again for day 2 of our 3-day rooted reset. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Greetings, Kimberly. Greetings, Sasha. If you're in the chat, go ahead and, if you're in the room, go ahead and put something in the chat so we can give you a shout out. Grand Rising, Mama Frie. Uh, really excited to be here with you all today. Today is day 2. We are going to be focused on the earth and learning the medicine of winter from the earth. Good morning, Rakia. Grand Rising. Greetings, Ayuka. So, my name is Renee Ifagbaye Eshubolae Lagbekbesina Tinawawe Oshundumola Smith. Uh, I am the daughter of Maureen and Dr. Richard Smith and Stephen Tyson. I am the granddaughter of Violet Chevalier, of Jacob Chevalier, of Brodell Anderson, of Cecil Smith. I am the great granddaughter of Ellie Benoit and Eddie Benoit. I always introduce myself in this way because I do not stand alone. I stand with those who've come before, and I am honored that they created a pathway for me. And so today, as I do this work, I pray that I create a pathway for those who come after. So I'm extremely excited to be here with you all today. I thank you all who joined us for our first day where we delved into water. And today we're going to be talking about the earth. And I'm going to warn you now, when we talk about plants, I get giddy. So if I get a little bit too giddy, you all can definitely let me know your thoughts in the chat. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome, Sion. Welcome, Sonia. Thank you all so much for being here with us today. So we're going to get started. I thank you all also for being here this early morning. There is a study that shares that this time period is really an amazing time for us to do this work because it allows for it to integrate well. So I thank you all for committing to being here at 5 a.m. So today we are, again, talking about the 3-day rooted reset. Release, root, and realign. And this is our gentle grounding journey as we prepare for the winter solstice, which comes on Sunday. And in the process of it coming on Sunday, we also have a new moon. So there's lots of things happening all at the same time and really allowing us to move into this portal well. Greetings, Sammy. So we're going to just talk a little bit about what we expect in these 3 days. For those of you who were able to join us yesterday and those who are today is your first day, welcome. These 3 days are set up to be a sacred space for us to release anything that's weighing us heavy in our hearts and for us to root deeply into the medicine of winter. We have to understand that as the earth is also, or our environments are also going through this change, that it is helpful for us to also be aware of the changes so that we can be prepared in this season. We're moving into the season of sacred rest, right? That is the medicine of winter. It is cold, it is quiet. And what it does many times is if we prepared, we can quiet the noise. And this can be a season of incubation. This can be a season of conception, because this is the time when we go to our deepest rest, but it is also the time that we connect to our divine feminine, the ability to be, not to do, but to be, right? I always share that the divine feminine is the ability to be, and the divine masculine is the ability to do. So in this being, right, understanding ourselves, releasing whatever may not have worked, anything that may be heavy, it allows us to really connect to the idea of things that we want to see happen and flourish in the next season. Things that we want to help rise, but also things that we want to shed, things that we don't want to take into the next season. So this is an opportunity for us to do so, and do so supported by the elements of the earth. So in our 3 days, just so that you can understand our rhythm, we have a simple, what I consider a simple ritual or practice, because one of the things that I want to make sure is that we continue to know that all of this is always accessible to us, that our forefathers, that our ancestors, that indigenous peoples across the world have always accessed ritual, not in a complicated way, but in some of the most simplest ways that we can imagine. So when we did water yesterday, we just simply acknowledged the water, put intention in our water, and then we used water to remove any blockages that we may have had, and made an intention about being with water for the day, right? Understanding that our bodies are 70% water. And so that yes, if we are feeling imbalanced, many times it's because we are dehydrated. We have not had enough water. And so being intentional with water. And so today we're going to be intentional about thinking about how we connect to the earth. We will always talk about a plant ally as well as a flower essence. That can help us during the season. And then we'll also have a moment to journal. And I feel that journaling is really important because it allows us to put our thoughts on paper unfiltered. And then when we go back to those thoughts, we realize we've been having some really deep processing happening during this time. So that is our day. And then we always have some way of integrating for the day, some challenge that we are left with for the day. So that is the rhythm of our 3 days. Again, if today is your first day with us, welcome. We're going to now tap and start talking about the earth, the idea of rooting and stability. This is what the earth gives us. But bigger than just rooting and stability, I always like to share with folks that us as humans in the hierarchy of everything that exists, we have a reciprocal relationship with the earth. This is not a, well, if I don't feel like it, I can't. No, it's we actually depend on the earth. If it doesn't exist, we don't exist. If we don't exist, it doesn't exist. And so there is this reciprocity that is important for us to pay attention to, because many times the earth is giving to us and we're not even aware that we are receiving. And so I'm hoping that through this session, we become a little bit more aware of what that relation looks like and how we can continue to cultivate it in this season. Welcome, Natasha. So the idea is to root, is to be still, and to stabilize. Again, we're talking about going into the winter season, the medicine of winter, the idea of the divine feminine, which is to be. It's not to do, it's to be. It's one of the reasons why, if the last couple of days you've been feeling really sleepy and feeling like, ooh, I got to take a nap. Ooh, I need to go to bed early. Ooh, I don't really want to talk to people. Ooh, I feel like I'm a little mean. All of these things are the beginnings of the body, right? Or our energies understanding that it's time for us to go into isolation, to go into hibernation. And so our bodies are responding to the changes that the earth is having at this time. So earth is foundational for us, right? It holds everything. And the same way how we talked about water yesterday, the water that we see is the water that existed at the beginning of time. The plants that we see, or the earth that we see every day, is also the remnant or the descendant of the first seed of time, right? Because the earth is intelligent, right? The earth has memory. It carries lineage. It understands belonging. And because of this, we're able to tap into it and get all of this information. I talk a little bit about, and we'll talk about a little bit more about plant intelligence later. But one of the things that we need to also understand is that the earth and the plants that exist within the earth and within this ecosystem also are considered ancestors. Or I had a really great friend of mine who called them plant ancestors, right? That they come to us in different ways to remind us that they have medicine and to remind us that they're guiding us in this practice. Specifically, the earth helps us to ground. So I had shared in your prep information that if you have some soil and you have it handy, it's great to keep it near you, because when we do our meditation today, it's going to help with kind of the tactile feeling of grounding. But we also can do so in our mind's eye. For many people, it is not warm outside, so I won't tell you go outside and put your feet in the ground. But actually, even in the winter, it's a good time to put your feet on the ground, and it's a way to ground yourself without doing anything else. Again, the idea that the earth has memory and has understanding and can also hold any and all things that we may be holding that we no longer need to keep. So, plant intelligence and ancestral memory. Plants are not silent. Again, I'm warning you now. I get a little geeky. I love talking about the plants, right? So, one of the things that we forget, or I shouldn't say we forget. One of the things that we as humans fail to recognize is that we live in an ecosystem, right? There are plants, there's animals, there's insects, there's wind, there's water, there's all different things that happen in this ecosystem. And because we have choice, right, we can choose what it is that we do or choose what it is that we want to do every day. We have chosen to believe that we are the top of the ecosystem. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but no, we're not. Actually, of all of the things that exist, the highest frequency actually comes from plants. And one of the things that's important to recognize is that even though plants look like they're still, they're always moving. One of our lovely elders and ancestors said, Baba Maladoma Some, he says they're moving so fast sometimes that for our own eyes and our own perception, they seem still. And so this is the energy of plants, right? This is the energy of plant intelligence. We are seeing the descendants of the first seed of time. When we talk about plant intelligence, we're talking about the ability to adapt, right? That is one of the things that plants do. They adapt. And the reason why we see many different uh, uh, classifications within the same botany family is because they adapted, right? Depending on their environment, depending on what is needed, they adapt. And so that is one of the things, one of the intelligences of plants, that they have the ability to adapt. They have the ability to witness anything that's happening on the earth. Whenever there's a natural disaster, what happens? Right? The tornado will come and it will clear everything out. And when will you know it's time? When you start to see plants rising out of the earth, right? They're the ones who are the living archives. If you cut the tree, those rings are telling you the number of years that it has been around, but also it's telling you where it may have lived, the bio atmosphere that existed when it lived in certain spaces, right? What was happening on the earth during that time is all embedded in itself. So they become these living archives that we have the ability to have uh, relation with. And it's important for us to talk about the relation that we have with them because they are our medicine. I talk about this from time to time when we share information about how intelligent plants are. And so I always share that, anything that we need from a plant, it'll show up. We may not even realize it, but I always tell people to check your backyards, check your front yards, because many times you'll be going through something and not know that all of a sudden the plant that you need has found itself in your yard. I've had it happen with lemon balm. I've had it happen before when I was looking for shepherd's purse. Just so happened to be looking for shepherd's purse. This is a very small plant that its seeds look like hearts. It tends to grow on the sides of the road and it looks like a weed, but it's a very powerful plant. It's used to help with stopping bleeding, specifically once a mother has had given birth, but also if you are having issues of the blood, it's good to take it as well because it ensures that you aren't going to overbleed and you're not going to lose the nutrients of your blood. But this plant, I had been looking for it and studying it with one of my elder herbalists, and one day just walking down Brooklyn, In the middle of the spring, I happened to look at one of those small beds, and what was there? Shepherd's purse. It was growing abundantly. I don't think anyone realized what it was because they thought it was a weed. Again, it will show up when we need it. And that's the intelligence of the earth. If we're paying attention, if we are tapped in to what's going on around us, not just the pretty colors. So the colors, and this is the thing, plants are so intelligent that sometimes we miss it, right? There's so many different ways for us to understand a plant. They call it the windows of plant perception. So there are about 12 of them, but the top five that I always talk about is one is color, right? The colors tell us something. So when we see a plant, we see the color, we see the structure of the leaves, we see the way that it looks. These are all information for us. Different colors resonate at different frequencies, right? So automatically, the plant is telling us something. When you get a rose and you look at the color of a rose, any color of the rose, but any roses, right, in any different colors, those portray different feelings, right? Red is passion, white is looking at not just clarity, but in memoriam. All of these things automatically translate something. So that's one of the things that's really, really important about plants, that they're always communicating with us. And when we make ourselves available, we're able to have these conversations. We have their environments, right? Where they grow tell us about who they are. You have a plant called the desert lily. It's absolutely amazing. It's the most beautiful lily that you will see, and it grows literally in the desert. There will be nothing around, and then this beautiful white flower that grows short to the earth because of the fact that it is actually very dry, but it's a beautiful flower. So that's another thing that tells us a little bit about the plants. Then we also have the shape, right? Different shapes tell us what type of plant it is, whether it is a divine feminine plant, whether it is a masculine plant, whether it is shaped as a cup versus whether or not it splays all the way out. All of these things are information. And so it is constantly sharing its information, right? You think about the different plants that represent different types of things that are happening. So, for example, marigold, right? When we talk about the Day of the Dead, when we talk about honoring our ancestors, marigold is one of the plants that come up, one of the flowers that we use, mainly because not only of its scent, but that it represents this idea of connecting to the ancestral world. So these are the things that plants carry, and with them carries these ancestral traditions, this medicine, and this memory. And so I want us to take a moment to think about ancestral plant wisdom and reflecting. What plants did your ancestors work with? Or what plant is coming to you right now? And what do you think it's trying to tell you? So take a moment to take a deep breath in. And I want you to think about in this moment what plant comes to your third eye. And don't go searching for it, but it's going to come to you. And that's part of us connecting with the earth, that they will come to us in our dreams. They will come to us by just showing up. We'll see them over and over again and be like, oh, I think you're trying to tell me something. What plant comes to you in this moment that your ancestors worked with? And what might it be telling you right now? You can pop that in the chat. I'll share right now in this moment what comes to me is clove. Those of you who know, I work with different medicines and have a book called Kitchen Medicines. And so many times these are 21 plants that you can find in your kitchen that are helpful in all seasons. But they come to us because they have not just a cooking place that we use all the time, coming from an African Caribbean family. So lots of spices were used in my house, but also they have medicinal and spiritual properties. And so those are really, really important as well. And so for me, clove has been coming in this season. Drinking clove, smelling clove, creating clove water, spraying it, all types of ways that I can connect to clove. And I know that it has an important space in the diaspora as well. I see that Kimberly said roses. Roses are beautiful heart flowers. They carry some of the highest vibrations and frequencies of all of the flowers. And then Sasha said lavender. Yes, lavender reminds us to decompress. It reminds us to relax. Um, Tell me a little bit, if you can, in the chat, why it comes to you. Sion says rosemary. Yes, sharp, alertness, and intuition. This idea of memory is very important to rosemary. I've shared before that you'll even see the Rastafarians will actually keep a piece behind their ear because it helps us to connect not just to ancestral memory, but it helps promote memory in that moment. It's really a beautiful. I see Rohia says mint, and Sonia says spearmint and elephant ear plant. Yes, I recently saw some of those when in my most recent trip to uh, Puerto Rico. They were absolutely beautiful in the rainforest. I see purple lily and milk thistle. Yes, these are all really, really great. Sion says, my dad planted a rosemary bush by the back door before he transitioned, and it still blooms. That's beautiful. It carries the energy of your father. That's beautiful. We have hibiscus, drinking the dried flowers. Yes, because of the holiday season, it is usually made when making sorrel. Yeah, sorrel, sobo, known throughout the diaspora and used as also heart medicine. Again, this wonderful plant that we have as part of our food also has these medicinal properties and is one of my favorite flowers to see. I have hibiscus. Those of you who know me I have hibiscus that and strangely enough, they always um, they always bloom in the fall. Just want to check and make sure everyone is still hearing me well. If you can give me either a thumbs up or a chat. Okay, I'm seeing roses. Kimberly shares that I think of the women in my maternal lineage who were drawn to roses and hibiscus in gardening and life. Yes, yes, wonderful. I see roses. Thank you so much for letting me know all good. Um, That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Kimberly. Yeah, so many times we have flowers, we have plants that are very much connected to our families. One of the plants very much connected to my grandmother was morning glory, right? And so I always tell the story that coming into herbalism or coming into flower essences was an interesting place for me because it wasn't something that I had ever planned. I had had a divination before my daughter was born, and they had said, "Oh, that there are very powerful herbalists that exist in your lineage, and you're going to be one of the people that brings it back." And I was like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. That is not what I planned for myself. Okay. And okay, look at me years later. They knew, I didn't know. But one of the things that I always recall was that my grandmother from Belize would come and visit us for like 3 to 4 months at a time. And usually she would come in the spring and the summer because she did not like the winter. And during this time, we would grow morning glories. And anyone who knows morning glories knows that they only open in the morning. And one of the things that used to be our time together would be me getting up early so I could watch them open. And so, interesting enough, that would be my earliest memory of, watching flowers. She also had a green thumb. She could grow anything. She used to she created one of the first black roses. So by splicing them and creating the color, and she was really, really great with gardening. But also, I think about it years later when I learned about morning glory and what morning glory actually does. So, as a flower essence, morning glory is used to help us to get into the right cycles, the cycles with the earth. Can you imagine that I experienced that particular flower early in life, probably at 8 or 9 years old, did not remember it. And then as I've been getting older, I've been recognizing that these plants are coming back and their wisdom is coming back. And so that's a part of our the inheritance that we have from our plants as well. Lisa shares that my grandmother had so many rose bushes in our front yard and was always tending to them. Yes. Ruhia shares that mint represents abundance, and I see my grandmother sipping spearmint and peppermint tea, and the effects of mint enhancing the sweetness. Yes. So these are all things to think about, right? To think about the plants that are not only coming to us in this season, but that are a part of our ancestral memory, right? They connect us to our ancestors, they connect us to our lineage, they connect us to this wisdom. And so I would say to you all today, as a challenge, any of these plants that came up for you in this moment, but any that may come up after we finish this session, take a moment and see if that you can connect with them, and if you can have them either as a tea, as just having them in your space to see what wisdom they have for you at this time. So today our plant ally is burdock root. Um, and so I'm going to do both burdock root or dandelion root, but really thinking about the roots, right? With a plant, we can use all parts of the plant, the flowers, and all of the parts of the flower, the stems, the leaves, and the roots. All of them have purpose. And so specifically in this particular session where we're talking about rooting and grounding down, we want to talk about the medicine of the root, right? Burdock root and dandelion root, these are all roots that help us with cleansing and with grounding. I share a story many times going on herbal walks with Mama Tyoma in Prospect Park, and she would walk us around for us to know where certain plants grow. Specifically, all of these, like the burdock roots, the yellow dock, some of these cleansing dandelion. Many times they grow in different spaces. And I have shared before, a little bit after COVID, we had gone on an herbal walk the year after the bigger part of COVID had happened, and many of these plants, specifically the burdock and the yellow dock and the dandelion, had moved to the entrance of the park, which is not where they normally were, almost as a signal to let us know that we really needed to spend time in a cleansing mode, right? We needed to get to these root uh, plants to really help us with cleansing after this time of being in isolation or having issue with COVID. And so, burdock root helps to strengthen the physical body, right? It helps us by supporting the liver, the blood, the lymphatic system, and the medicine that it does is it helps to cleanse and fortify this physical foundation. It also encourages resilience, right? Especially now as we move into the winter, right? Winter, it's cold. Our immune system many times are down. And when you think about this time, this is also the time that we would eat root vegetables, right? In many cultures, especially in Caribbean cultures, you would eat root vegetables. You're having soups. You're putting dumplings. You're getting your potatoes and your yam and all of these different things. And so we're rooting down, we're allowing ourselves to have this energy of, use the energy of our food to keep us grounded, right? So that we don't have to eat as much, but also it helps our system to stay warm. It helps our immune system to stay grounded. So this is the time where taking an opportunity to learn and explore more root vegetables is helpful because that is also medicine. The other thing that roots help us to do is it helps us to ground, especially if we feel like we have scattered energy, right? If you ever look at roots, if you ever get to pull up a plant and you look at the way in which the roots are scattered, they have a way of going out, but they all come back to a central place, right? And so this idea of grounding us when our energy feels scattered, burdock root has the ability to do this. It has the ability to pull us back to center, and allows us to ground in our bodies and to ground in our minds. So root vegetables, roots in plants in and of itself is its own medicine. right? Being able to dig in the earth and to find roots, but also to have the opportunity to consume them is really important to our grounding. It's really important to us learning about the medicine that plants have. How many of you drink or have had experiences with burdock or dandelion root? If you have, just pop it in the chat for me. Here it says both. Great. Dandelion. Great. Use both. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you, Sion. Yeah, these are all of the plants that help to clear, that help to give us some grounding. And during this season, this is a great season to also pay attention to using them to help fortify our immune system as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about this idea of grounding down, but also the idea of uh, our third eye, of our ori, of our um, divine head that kind of guides us in this process. Sammy says that a little, especially during COVID when it began. Yes, yeah. So these are again these roots our medicine that really helps us, especially in times when our immune system may be compromised, but also to help fortify us. So we can use it prior to. We don't have to only use it when we're in crisis, but we can use it as a preventative medicine as well. Um, Ruhia shares that I love the various life cycles of dandelion as well. The wish, the flower, the young, and the elder leaves. Absolutely. And they're great as greens, just all parts of dandelion. It's a lot of fun. Thank you for sharing that. So let's talk a little bit about our ori, right? Being able to ground ourselves also in our mind, in our mind's eye. For those of you who have not taken session with me before, and this may be a new concept, I'll start at the beginning that our ori is our divine head, not just our physical head that sits on our head, but the divine head that comes with us here on earth. And so many times we can feel as though we're not grounded, right? We can feel like we are not um, having the capacity to think clearly or to be focused. And so, this is an opportunity for us to look at how we ground our focus during this time. How do we quiet the noise during this time? And so, one of the things that our Ori brings to us and being in tuned with our Ori, it allows us to ensure that we're placing our feet on solid ground, that we're following our not just our intuition, but whatever that divine path is that we need to be creating during this time, that we're listening to ourselves, right? That we're not listening to folks outside, that we're not taking in too many opinions, that this is actually the time, this time of incubation, this time of hibernation, this time of conception is really a time that it is us. It's our divine will. It's our divine understanding of who we are and who we want to be that we are incubating during this time. And so our Ori helps us to anchor, to stay grounded in this process. It also helps us with inner alignment, right? During this time, being able to ground our minds, ground our and quiet the noise helps us to understand where we're in alignment and when there are other things that we need to kind of let go. And in terms of using a flower essence or this idea of emotional alchemy, it helps to steady our direction. So we're able to ensure that we are focused on this path. And in this particular moment, we're focusing on grounding, ensuring that we are settling our mind, that we are grounding into the earth, and that in this process, we are able to begin this season in a place of grounded focus. So, our minds are very important in this as well because many times when we feel scattered We feel like we're not remembering, or we're forgetting, and forgetting like simple things, like I came in to do X and now I can't remember what I came in here to do. Things like that sometimes are signs that we need to ground, that we need a moment to ensure that we are in connection with our divine self and that we're grounded here on earth. So I want us to take a moment. You're going to take your hands and you're going to hold your physical head is also the space of your ori, your divine head. And so take a moment to hold your ori and take a deep breath in and breathe out. Again, deep breath in and breathe out. Last time, deep breath in and breathe out. I want you to take a moment to just allow the thoughts to melt away. Find that spot in the middle of your third eye and focus on it. And let all the other things move away. And take a deep breath in and breathe out. And during this moment, we say, I honor my Ori. I honor the focus and the guidance that it provides in this season. I honor my Ori. I honor the focus and the guidance that it provides in this season. And take a deep breath in. Breathe out and allow your hands to melt away. How's that feeling? Right now, feeling very focused. Share how that feels in the chat. And that's the beginning of our grounding ritual. And before we move forward, while Raquel shares that her grandmother used to say that the medicine comes up when we need it. Yes. When the plants are in bloom, we should be eating them. Exactly. Exactly. So we are going to go into our grounding. I feel clear. Thank you. I felt clarity. Wonderful. Clarity. That's great. Yes. I'm going to do a little bit more work with that right now. Natasha says peaceful and aligned. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So we are going to get ready to do our visualization for today. Our ritual for today is going to be a deep visualization. So I'm going to ask everyone to take a moment to find some space, get very comfortable. We are going to do this visualization for about 5 minutes or so. And so once you've gotten yourself into a comfortable position and you are ready to begin, then I need you to write, I am ready in the chat. Then we will get started. Thank you. Thank you. Give a couple more seconds on here. Great. So we're going to get started. So take a moment to take your left hand, and make a fist. Right hand, place it over your fist. And you're going to place your hand at your belly button. This is the seat of who we are. It's our solar plexus. So you're going to place it right there at your belly button as you do the breathing. So I'm going to start first with just simple breathing, taking a deep breath in, cleansing breath, and breathe out. Again, deep breath in and breathe out. One more deep breath in and breathe out. And so take a moment to place your feet on the floor, to place your feet on the ground, and not just kind of plop on the ground, but like really be able to wiggle your toes against the ground, to feel the balls of your feet, to feel if you have an arch, if you don't have the arch, how much of your arch is reaching the floor, and then to feel your heels on the floor, like tap your heels on the floor a couple of times so that you can feel that. And so spread your feet on the floor. And this time when you take a deep breath in, I want you to breathe out and feel your feet going deeper into the ground. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Again, deep breath in and breathe out. Feel yourself being planted. Feel the roots or see the roots in your mind's eye growing deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the earth. And now take another deep breath in, and starting at your third eye, I want you to focus on grounding down. That energy of alignment, that energy of clarity that you had in breathing into your ori and trusting the medicine and focus, we're going to use that to ground ourselves all the way down into the earth. And so take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, going all the way down the body, feeling the roots growing through your toes and grounding you in this moment. Again, deep breath in and breathe out. Feel those roots extending into the floor, into the ground, reaching, 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 reaching. And last one, deep breath in and breathe out. All the way down, all the way down. You can see the network happening. And repeat this affirmation. I am rooted. I am supported. I am held. I am rooted. I am supported. I am held. I am rooted. I am supported. I am held. And take a deep breath in and breathe out as your final rooting all the way down. And when you are ready, you can release your hands. And when you are ready, work on picking up your feet. You may feel that they're very heavy right now. Take your time to check in with your feet and see how grounded you're feeling. Right now, my feet feel very heavy, not in a bad way, like I'm solid. My feet are very solidly connected to the earth right now. And check in with yourself. Check in with your legs, with your arms. I'm even feeling a lot of stability in my solar plexus just from that breathing and visualization. How are you feeling? Tell me how it's going for you. Drop a line in the chat. So, the idea of grounding, the idea of visualizing our connection with the earth. Yeah, your feet feel heavy, right? It's a very interesting, this has always been an interesting meditation for me because just visualizing roots really make us solid, like solid in this moment. Thanks for sharing, Cameron. Anyone else? Things that you notice? Not sure, but I feel okay. Good. Thank you, Sammy. Lisa says it's a great way to start my day. My legs felt heavy during the meditation, right? And then afterwards, you feel very, not just, it's not light, it feels grounded. Like if you've been in a space where you felt a little scattered, if you notice yourself today, you'll be really solid. Um, yes, Maria says, I feel grateful. I immediately felt connected to my guides, my ancestors, and all of you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, this is the power and the medicine that we have right now. Yeah, right. This idea of I am rooted, I am supported, and I am held. That the earth holds us, that the plants guide us, that we have the ability for support in all areas, but especially during this time period when we're moving into the medicine of winter. Thank you all so much for sharing. And I of course always implore everyone that as you go through the rest of the day, to think about how this feeling that you're having now will actually permeate through what you do today. So let's take a few minutes to do a quick journal reflection. And so our journal reflection is, where does my spirit feel unrooted? And what would grounding look like in this season? What would grounding look like in this season? Sion shares that I feel like I belong. Ashe. Natasha shares that my legs feel a bit heavy and connected, but it feels really good. Thank you. So let's take a few minutes to do this journal prompt. Where does my spirit feel unrooted? And what would grounding look like in this season? And I implore you to just take a moment to allow yourself to free write, so that your thoughts can kind of flow through this for a few minutes. So, about 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we will, if you would like to share something, please feel free to pop it in the chat. A realization that may have come up, or something that you are unrooting in this moment, and what grounding looks like for you. Great. Would anyone like to share? You can definitely pop your comments into the chat. So, if anyone would like to share, what would grounding look like in this season? What would grounding look like for you in this season? Well, I will share for me. It looks like more rest. It looks like more quiet time to not just journal, but to put my thoughts on paper this year, and to put them up so that I can see them every day as part of my goal uh, for what I want to accomplish in the spring. Sammy shares, I feel unrooted in the state I'm currently living in. Grounding looks like nurturing my body and social battery, but also practicing mindfulness. Yes. I wore something totally different, but then I heard in this season, I need to pamper myself. Aha. Oh, I wrote. Got it. Cameron shares finding a way to approach new beginnings with stable values and morals. Raquel shares unapologetic and unplanned and planned rest. I'm with you. I'm with you. Planned rest sounds amazing. If you have any other thoughts about what grounds you in this season, feel free to put them in the chat. A hibernation, yep. And saying no when I don't actually want to go. Yes. The power of no being a full and complete sentence. during this time is important. Sasha shares grounding feels like cleansing, locking into my fitness routine and finishing what I started this year. So continue to take these thoughts with you today as you're going through your day, and looking at the ways in which you ground becomes very important to you. So we are coming to a close, but I'm going to remove that. Wanted to share that as we're moving into the winter solstice. That winter solstice gathering will be on Sunday, December 21st, again at 5 a.m. That one will go a little bit longer, but we'll be diving into the divine feminine. And so I wanted to share this with you all. If you haven't already registered, please do so. It's usually it is a wonderful and divine time to spend time together. In that session, we'll have a little bit more time. So for those of you who are open to being on camera or being presented up on the stage and having conversations as we do so, let me know, and I'll definitely make sure that you're also in the room with us during that time. But we're really looking forward to the sanctuary of She. This is an opportunity for us. Again, we're moving into the divine feminine. We're moving into the state of being. And so this is an opportunity for us to invite rituals into our spaces and into our minds and into our practice that will allow for us to stay grounded in being. And those of you who are in New York, you also know that you have the opportunity to do the morning session, which is virtual, and then the evening session, which will be happening at a local bathhouse where we will be doing a water ritual. And so I wanted to share that with you all before we close. Sion shares, eating more at home, grounding down with hearty soups and stews. Absolutely. I just found or thought about a white bean turkey chili recipe that I don't know, it came to mind and I was like, I'm going to make this. And then, I looked it up and realized it does exist. So we'll see how that turns out. I am looking forward to making that. But yes, eating more at home, grounding into root vegetables, and allowing ourselves to nourish ourselves during this time. So I want to close with this earth blessing. May your roots deepen. May your steps be steady. May you remember that you are held. May your roots deepen. May your steps be steady. May you remember that you are held. I greet you all with this. I thank you all for being here with us today and look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is our third day. And our third day, we are going to be talking about igniting, using the fire energy, the way in which fire can help us during this time of incubation to keep not just our bodies warm, but also to think about the things that we want to burn away, that we want to cleanse so that we have the clarity to do the work that we're looking to do. Again, this is the medicine of winter. And so I thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much, Sammy. Yes, this is very healing. I also receive something as I give. So I thank you all for being here for this grounding session. I'm wishing everyone an amazing, amazing day. Remember, tomorrow we join again at 5 a.m. And tomorrow we will be looking at fire. You will come with a candle. Any candle color is fine. And then we will do our work together. Thank you all so much for being with us today. Again, day 2 of our 3-day rooted reset. Today we looked at the earth and the medicine of the earth. Have an amazing day, everyone.